I'm a creepy weirdo, lurking in corners and secretly obsessing over Ethan, the aloof top student. I press cat paw prints on his test papers and drop orange peels in his water bottle. Seeing him get annoyed gives me a twisted thrill, until the day I got caught drawing a turtle on his uniform. A large hand clamped around my waist. "Having fun?" he asked. "In class." My oversized uniform swallows my frame. Thick bangs and black-rimmed glasses hide my face. The teacher beams while praising Ethan, another perfect score. Like it's nothing special. Jealousy burns through me like wildfire. It's like one tree envying another, wishing to become the axe handle that destroys it. Right now, I am that tree. My fingers crumple the edge of my test paper until my desk mate jabs my shoulder. The screech of my chair echoes through the silent classroom as I scramble up. 30 pairs of eyes strip me bare, exposing every ugly thought. My ears ring as the teacher's disappointed sigh replaces earlier praise. No applause. No envious glances. I disappear like dust settling without a ripple, biting my lip until it stings. I sneak a glance at Ethan. Sunlight crowns his golden hair as he turns pages with elegant fingers. Even the light loves him more. When our eyes meet, my heart pounds like a trapped rodent's. I jerk away, his gaze feels like sunlight burning through mold. I hate Ethan. Everyone adores the perfect golden boy, straight A student. Piano prodigy. Basketball star. Trust fund prince. Teachers grin like fools when he walks by. Some are born in Rome. Others exist as background NPCs in this stupid game called life. Before he transferred, I was the top student in our grade. But everything changed when Ethan Wilson arrived. The former champion became the perpetual runner-up. Second place might sound decent. But who remembers the name of the silver medalist? My academic halo faded, leaving me colorless, an NPC stripped of defining traits, reduced to background scenery. Back then, I didn't completely despise him yet. That changed when I saw Mrs. Wilson dropping him off at school. This elegant woman smoothed his collar with such tenderness, speaking in gentle tones devoid of screaming or harsh words. My nose burned as childhood memories surfaced, my mother clawing through supermarket produce with her canvas bag, me tugging her sleeve near the dollar chocolate display. "Mom, can I have this?" Her slap cracked across my cheek before the question fully left my lips. "Chocolate? You think we're made of money?" I stood frozen in the aisle, humiliation raining down. So I was a dog then, chocolate could kill me. That's when my hatred for Ethan crystallized. Why did he get to be protagonist while I remained NPC? Why did he bask in parental love I couldn't beg for? Why did everything come effortlessly to him while I rationed even glances? Jealousy dragged me underwater, a drowning soul resenting rooted shore grass. During lunch break, I stole Ethan's test paper, watching him search his desk multiple times. That crease between his brows gave me dark satisfaction. Even golden boy Ethan could falter. Kevin Brown bounced a basketball nearby. "What's up, Ethan?" My test disappeared. "Didn't we just review it?" Kevin's balls stopped spinning. I leaned against the wall diagonal from them, eavesdropping with illicit thrill, until Ethan's gaze locked onto mine. He strode over, his shadow engulfing my desk. "Emily," his voice low. "Seen my test?" I stiffened, palm slamming over my textbook. Beneath it lay a paper labeled Ethan Wilson in bold print. "No. I don't know." My heart raced wildly, threatening to leap from my chest. Ethan's gaze swept over me from head to toe. After what felt like an eternity, he finally said, "HM. Just asking." My pulse quickened further. Kevin walked over, blatantly ignoring me. "Ethan, wanna play ball next period? I've got guys ready." Ethan nodded. I was about to exhale in relief when I noticed him still rooted in place. Eyes locked on me. "Is something wrong?" He turned without answering, leading Kevin toward the door. "Let's head straight to the field." Kevin urged. My squad's waiting. Just as my heartbeat steadied, Ethan paused at the doorway. His eyes swept across the classroom before meeting mine. Let's check the surveillance footage first. My hand froze on the textbook. I stared at the camera above the blackboard, cold dread creeping up my spine. They'd see everything. Like a rat dragged from the sewers into blinding sunlight, exposed. Humiliated. I forced a steadying breath. But my hands kept trembling. If they found out, I'd be branded a thief forever. The mere thought of enduring everyone's sideways glances made my chest constrict. My textbook fell open, revealing the stolen test paper inside, its margins crammed with manic repetitions of Ethan in red and blue ink. The obsessive scrawl alone felt unsettling. Before I could react, a soft meow sounded beneath the desk. Our campus cat, Senior, leaped onto the test paper with muddy paws, stamping 4 tiny paw prints across Ethan's name. The childish ink blots now framed by dirty cat tracks created absurd juxtaposition. I clutched the purring feline, paralyzed. That evening during study hall, the teacher assigned test paper transcriptions. Ethan sat drumming his long fingers irritably on the desk. Part of me reveled in his frustration. Another part loathed my own pettiness. As the bell rang, I deliberately slowed my packing to eavesdrop on Ethan and Kevin. Let me borrow yours, Ethan demanded. Kevin flashed an okay sign, handing over his paper. Wanna join our gaming squad tonight? Ethan shook his head. I'll return it tomorrow. Kevin dashed off, the rich kid who shadowed Ethan everywhere except classrooms. Famously heard every morning yelling while scrambling to copy homework. Relieved they hadn't mentioned cameras, I rose to leave. When I looked up, I was startled to find Ethan standing right in front of me without warning. Ah! I stumbled backward, caught my foot on the chair leg, and started falling. Ethan's brow furrowed as he grabbed my wrist, pulling me into his chest with a slight tug. You okay? His voice rumbled above me. My heart raced wildly, whether from the scare or our proximity. I couldn't tell. Fine. Like shadows scorched by light. I instinctively tried retreating. When I shifted, I realized Ethan still gripped my wrist while his other arm anchored my lower back, immobilizing me completely. Sorry for startling you, he said politely, yet made no move to release me. I kept my eyes down, shaking my head mutely, wanting freedom but lacking words to ask. I froze when Ethan spoke again. Can I borrow your test? The keyword test triggered me. My head snapped up. Flushed cheeks contrasted with pale skin behind round glasses as my frightened cat-like eyes darted. I heard you talking with Kay, my stammered deflection dragged painfully. Unfazed, Ethan finished. Borrowed Kevin's test? I nodded. Ethan closed his eyes and exhaled heavily before finally releasing me. He thrust Kevin's paper between us. We both stared in stunned silence. How could someone turn exam answers into complete gibberish? I bit my lip, avoiding eye contact. Couldn't find your copy? Ethan shrugged. The classroom camera's broken. Sudden relief hardened my voice. I need mine to write. You already finished. My breath hitched. I'd only completed it during last period. How? Ethan's obsidian eyes pinned me. How'd I know? He chuckled darkly. Because I'm very observant. His tone hovered between joke and threat. Reluctantly, I handed over my test. Days passed without return. The empty page in my binder glared accusingly. An unbearable eyesore. Finally, to keep things tidy, I reluctantly stuffed Ethan's filthy test paper into the folder, letting out a long breath. I finally felt at ease. Another PE class arrived. Ethan stood on the basketball court, surrounded by classmates like the moon encircled by stars. Everyone's gaze lingered on him. Even mine. Damn it! That feeling of being excluded from the world resurfaced. I shoved an orange slice into my mouth. Sour. More than the taste. It was jealousy spreading. I glared at Ethan with malice, secretly wishing, I hope someone punctures his bike tires. No sooner had I muttered this curse than two girls nearby started chatting. Wow. Ethan's so dreamy. Right? Handsome and loaded. I heard. I wish he were my boyfriend. Belatedly I remembered Ethan always had a private chauffeur after school. Unfair. Why? Why him? My eyes sought Ethan across the crowd. Sweat glistened on his forehead. Starlight dancing in his eyes as he glanced my way. Lips quirking slightly. Damn flirt. Feeling my cheeks flush. I hissed. Man whore. My gaze suddenly caught Ethan's jacket and opaque black water bottle on the ground nearby. Mischief sparked. As I debated whether to stain his clothes. Cheers erupted. Ethan had scored a perfect three-pointer. Acidic jealousy bubbled up as I mindlessly crushed cold orange peel in my palm. Orange peel? Inspiration struck. Glancing around, I sneaked to Ethan's belongings. Heart pounding like thunder. I grabbed his bottle and stuffed the orange peel inside before fleeing. Anticipation fizzed as I imagined his disgusted face when drinking it later. The game ended decisively. Sweat-drenched Ethan approached his stuff while classmates kept complimenting him. He picked up the bottle, unscrewed it, then paused. My nails dug into my palms as he suddenly turned toward me. Why was he looking? Did he suspect me? Oh God. He knew. Emily. I'm parched. I froze. Huh? What's that got to do with me? Unless he'd figured me out? Testing me? Under my stare, Ethan's long lashes fluttered. Sweat droplets catching on them like liquid diamonds. After his prominent Adam's apple bobbed. Ethan lied to me with ears turning crimson. I didn't bring water. Me, liar. When I stuffed the orange peel in, I clearly saw his bottle was full. What's his game? Some scheme? Ethan's gaze fell on the barely touched water bottle I death gripped while thinking. If you're not drinking it, can I have some? He towered over me, pierced me with those intense eyes, pressed closer until I chickened out. Here. My face burned scarlet. I weakly closed my eyes, handing over the bottle. Emily, you're such a failure. Should've just stuffed the peel in my own bottle. Ethan must have been genuinely thirsty after sports. He twisted the cap off and chugged half the bottle in one go. My water. Not that I minded sharing. But Ethan already has everything, now he's stealing my water too? Unbelievable. I hissed through gritted teeth, you really were thirsty. Ethan side-eyed me, what? The ostrich in me buried itself underground. Nothing. That afternoon, I'd just reached the classroom door after bathroom break when I spotted Ethan zoning out by the water cooler. It took me 2 glances to realize he was staring at his open bottle. First confusion flickered across his face. Then, was that a smirk? Then, he actually brought the glistening bottle to his lips and sniffed it. After inhaling, he sealed the cap with this creepy, delighted smile. I froze mid-step. Hello? Someone poisoned your drink with citrus rinds and you keep it? Planning to run forensic tests later? What kind of psychopathic? Ethan's terrifying enough without playing detective. I spent the entire afternoon jumpy, half expecting him to drag me by the collar and expose my heinous crime any second. Rain clouds hung heavy all weekend. My heart raced from the moment I woke, dread clinging like wet clothes. I yanked open the curtains. Inky darkness swallowed the world outside. Same as always. My home greeted me, perfectly silent. Perfectly lonely. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson never wanted me. From childhood, Mr. Johnson resented Mrs. Johnson for using me as chains, stealing his freedom. Mrs. Johnson resented Mr. Johnson's philandering ways and countless affairs, believing he'd squandered her youth. You've got that bastard's blood running through your veins. She'd snap. You're just like him. From age 2 when he left until starting middle school at 13. I'd only seen my father 3 times, twice during screaming matches. Once during their divorce proceedings. The court granted custody to mother, though she didn't want me either. So this hollowed-out home became mine alone. Parents? The monthly allowance deposited in my bank account and their obligatory check-in calls served as the only proof they still breathed. When loneliness becomes routine, you stop craving connection. Yet witnessing others' happiness still stung like salt in fresh cuts. The phone rang, silenced itself, rang again in persistent bursts until the third attempt forced my sluggish hand to answer. Chaos bled through the receiver, shrieking children, video game explosions, clanging cookware, the perpetual whir of a range hood. Your allowance went through, she stated like reciting tax codes. My throat constricted around unformed words when sudden wailing drowned her out. Click. The dial tone hummed its familiar elegy. My silhouette melted into shadows, briefly illuminated by lightning flashes. Silent tears tracked down cheeks. How could such a vibrant world feel devoid of spaces welcoming my existence? I'd contemplated surrender, releasing them. Releasing myself. Dissolving like water into water. Leaving no ripple. Curled fetal in darkness. Trembling voice confessing to empty air, Emily. I hate you. Lunch break found me white-knuckling a Sharpie behind Ethan's chair. The classroom stood deserted. Security cameras conveniently disabled. No witnesses. No consequences. Emily. Steady your hand. My traitorous fingers kept quivering. Logically. I knew Ethan bore no responsibility for my family's wreckage or social ineptitude. He moved through life like a cat basking in sunlight, effortless. Untouchable. I thrashed like a barbed fish in murky depths. Self-rescue attempts only tangling me deeper in kelp strands of manufactured hatred. Pathetic. Disgust curdled in my throat, self-loathing for my unlovable existence. Yet the marker tip met pristine fabric. Tears splattered alongside ink blots. Maybe even stray dogs possess survival instincts. As I committed to defacing the uniform with trembling circles. Strong arms cinched my waist. Warm breath ghosted my ear. Having fun? Ethan. My body stiffened. My mind completely blank. Struggling desperately against him in near panic. I found myself crushed against Ethan's chest. My legs trapped against his hips. I was bodily lifted onto his desk, right onto the vandalized school jacket I'd been drawing silly doodles on moments earlier. He leaned closer, his deceptively calm voice pronouncing my sentence. Caught red-handed. Any last words? Emily? Tremors racked my body. This was it, my pathetic self about to be exposed to public ridicule. Yet perversely, my racing heart suddenly stilled. Total defeat felt peaceful. Meeting those intense hazel eyes. I rasped. No. Ethan hummed low in his throat. Finally admitting your little crush then? I nodded automatically before freezing. What crush? His grip on my waist turned bruising. Before I could react, calloused fingers tangled in my hair as his mouth crashed against mine. I sat paralyzed as Ethan's lips moved with frantic, searing urgency. Wintergreen breath flooding my senses. Ethan. I gasped against his mouth. He responded with a ragged groan that shot straight through me. The classroom air thickening with tension. My back arched involuntarily as he pulled me flush against his burning torso. Rational thought dissolving into static. When oxygen became critical, the madman finally released me. Face flaming, I shoved at his chest. You absolute lunatic. Instead of recoiling, Ethan's gaze turned predatory. Adam's apple bobbing. I scrambled backward only for him to drag me back by the ankle. Ethan! I kicked uselessly as he ducked for another kiss. My palm smacked against his jaw, shoving him aside. The wounded look he shot me made no sense. Going back on your confession already? Confess what? The doodles? Realization dawned. You thought I meant. Oh God. My face met my palms. We're talking about completely different things here. Ethan's thumb brushed my burning cheek. Still lying? His murmur held dangerous softness as he caged me against the desk. Your mouth says no, his lips grazed my earlobe. But your body's been screaming yes since freshman year. Ethan stepped forward, firmly positioning himself between my legs. You were sneaking glances at me during class. Even missed the teacher calling your name. That's just my personality. What does it have to do with you? You took my monthly exam paper, eavesdropped on my conversation with Kevin, gave me opportunities to talk to you. Me, so the campus heartthrob survives on imagination? When he saw me staring dumbfounded, Ethan clicked his tongue, the redness behind his ears deepening. Last PE class. You put orange peels in my water bottle. Gave me that intense look. Wanting me to drink from the same bottle as you? I completely lost it. When did I ever look at you intensely? Those were jealous, envious, disgusted glances. Ethan, what kind of creature are you? But I didn't dare say it aloud. My courage flickered briefly before being smothered. Now reviving it felt harder than scaling the heavens. Honestly, I'd never met someone so delusional in my life. It left me utterly flustered. I lowered my head wanting to disappear, only to meet the half-drawn turtle doodle on my uniform. Me, well, having a secret crush beats public humiliation. Right? Besides, we already kissed. My face burned crimson. Looking up, I stammered, why yes. I have a crush on you. Emily. You coward. I mentally berated myself. Ethan's ears flushed as he nodded like this confirmed everything. Avoiding eye contact. He delivered the knockout punch, though I'm not looking to date right now. But, arg. After forcing myself to admit this embarrassing crush. He kisses me then says he's not ready? Total betrayal. I didn't want to hear anything after but just the typical you're great but rejection. My burning face exploded. I slapped his cheek, yelling jerk, pushing past him. I leaped off the desk and bolted, leaving a bewildered Ethan. Huh? Ethan rejected me. My simmering jealousy and resentment now felt like they'd been chewed up by a dog. From head to toe, I felt utterly ridiculous, pathetically absurd. Standing by the campus oak, my anger boiled over until I kicked the tree twice. Ethan, meeting you was truly my blessing. The shout released some tension. Turning around, I found a Maserati parked beside me. The window lowered, revealing a driver staring straight ahead, while Ethan wore an intriguing expression, cheeks still red from my slap. His face blended surprise, shock, hurt, and self-doubt. Ethan, if I mean so much, why won't you let me kiss you? My face flamed scarlet under the driver's avid gossip watching gaze. What are you talking about? How could he say something like that so shamelessly? And then reject me? Since when do jerks act so brazenly? I stood frozen, completely speechless. My face burned hot enough to fry an egg. Ethan was absolutely insane. What kind of psycho kisses someone then acts like this? My mind went blank except for one thought. Run! Covering my flaming face. I bolted only to hear the driver sigh behind me. Young master. The young lady seems upset. Ethan kept his stern expression but his eyes betrayed him. Darting to the window as if searching for someone long gone. Ah. Young love. The driver mused. Reminds me of my youth. Ethan, just drive. Uncle Lee. Ethan was a total creep. During class, I kept feeling eyes on me while taking notes. But whenever I turned around, there he sat bathed in sunlight, the picture of academic dedication. Humph. Delusional jerk. I made sure to look away before our eyes could meet, enduring the laser-like stare drilling into my back. Not giving this narcissist an inch. I declared war on his weirdness. Every class ended with me needing to use the restroom. I'd camp outside with my French textbook until the bell rang. Why? Wasn't I the one who got rejected? Shouldn't I be heartbroken? Besides, Ethan clearly wanted nothing to do with romance. Whatever. Who cares about him anyway? Stubborn? Me? Emily doesn't do stubborn. Passing the honor roll board. I glared at Ethan's name topping the list. If this lunatic could be first, why not me? That ranking rightfully belongs to me. Furious, I buried myself in textbooks day and night. I'd crush Ethan. Payback for accusing me of having a crush then rejecting me out of nowhere. Lately, Ethan found himself distracted. Normally effortless equations now swam on the page while his mind replayed that day. The driver's words haunted him, she cried. Since then, the fiery gaze that once followed his every move had vanished. Emily truly avoided him now. From her transfer day, she'd watched him only him. But now, no wide-eyed amazement greeted his brilliant class responses. No familiar mushroom-haired figure cheered at basketball games. For the first time, the golden boy tasted regret. He shouldn't have kissed her that day. Kevin stared as Ethan frowned out the window. Following his gaze, he spotted Emily sitting beneath a tree, pencil cap clenched between her teeth as she meticulously worked through her assignment. The breeze toyed with her overgrown bangs, strands fluttering annoyingly across her face. With an irritated huff, Emily pinned the rebellious hair back using a strawberry-shaped clip from her textbook. A satisfied smile bloomed across the beautiful boy's face as he finally found relief, sunlight catching the faint blush on his cheeks that made him look indescribably radiant. Holy shit! Ethan, did you see that? A total transformation. Kevin sputtered, nearly choking on his shock. Since when did Emily get this, my god. She's breathtaking. The only person in school who even comes close to her is you. Ethan. Ethan? Ethan. Are you even? My girlfriend's so beautiful. Ethan murmured, crimson creeping up his neck. Kevin's jaw hit the floor. The legendary Ethan? Pining in silence? Since when did this walking perfection have romantic feelings for another guy? No less? Before his mental meltdown could complete, Ethan's hushed confession detonated another bombshell. A friend of mine likes this guy who rejected him. Any advice? Everyone knows a friend means me. So Ethan's not just crushing, he actually got turned down by Emily? Oh my god! My impulsive haircut left bangs too short to hide behind. The chunky glasses that once shielded me got ditched too, useless glare magnifiers. When I walked into class Monday, our class president did a double take. Wrong classroom. Newbie. I'm in the right place. I deadpanned. Wait, transfer student? Emily. Same as last week. His eyes bulged. 2-day glow up. Did you get plastic surgery over the weekend? I seriously questioned my classmates' collective IQ. Sliding into my seat, I channeled Arctic Circle vibes. Dozens of curious glances prickled my skin until my cheeks burned crimson. Just as I contemplated face planting onto my desk, a thunderous slam echoed through the room. Ethan sat glaring at his overturned dictionary, the sound effectively silencing the room. Grateful for the interruption, I melted into my corner. Who knew being noticed could feel this suffocating? Knuckles wrapped my desk. I looked up to find Ethan's face matching my own tomato red hue. Guess the virus is contagious after all. Emily. He croaked, shoving a notebook my way. Can you explain this problem? Her voice trembled with nervousness, carrying a pleading undertone. But if Ethan couldn't solve it, this must be an extremely difficult problem. If I figured it out, wouldn't that mean I'd outshine him? My eyes instantly lit up. Not that I wanted to help him, I simply wanted to defeat him. But when I saw the problem, Ethan, are you insulting my intelligence? A flicker of panic flashed in his eyes before he mumbled meekly. No. I just suddenly forgot. Really? Really? While earnestly explaining the problem to amnesiac Ethan, I missed him secretly giving Kevin a thumbs up behind my back. Morning routine, wash up. Open the door. Head downstairs to school. But after a few steps, something felt off. Like someone was following me. I pulled out my phone. Using the screen to check behind me, sure enough, a suspicious man lurked near the corner. White jacket. Face mask. Baseball cap. My heart pounded like war drums. I pocketed my phone and bolted. The stalker immediately gave chase with long strides, finally grabbing my wrist at the intersection where I stood gasping for air. The tall masked figure spoke in Ethan's confused voice. Why were you running? Why? Because you nearly scared me to death. But Ethan's my rival, he can't see me weak like this. I swallowed hard, yanking my hand free. I was morning jogging. Ethan's skeptical gaze dropped to my trembling legs after the 100-meter sprint. Oh, what's that look? Don't believe me? He coughed, turning his face away. No. His denial made me more suspicious, especially since his shoulders started shaking. Ethan! I jumped in front of him, ripping off his mask. My fiercest glare met Ethan's flushed face, tears of laughter glistening in his eyes. I accused. You're making fun of me. Not at all. His mirthful eyes softened as he gently ruffled my hair. I just think your scared face is cute. The warm palm resting on my head. The tender touch, it felt like being cherished. I stood frozen, mind blank. How dare you, touch my hair? My eyes involuntarily welled up, voice quivering between indignation and a whine. Ethan mistook it for anger. And not allowed? Sorry. Don't cry. Emily. Please don't cry. He fumbled anxiously. But my tears only grew heavier. By school arrival, my eyes had swollen like walnuts. For several consecutive days, my gaze began involuntarily lingering on Ethan. The warmth from his palm that day still faintly lingered atop my head. By noon, I finally couldn't resist slapping my hand against Ethan's desk. Could you come outside with me? Ethan rose swiftly and followed me out. My lips parted then closed. How could I possibly ask Ethan, who'd already rejected me once, to hug me? He'd think I'm a total creep. Maybe I should just forget it. My relationship with the class president had been decent lately. Maybe I could ask him instead. Humans are all the same anyway. I took a step back, about to say never mind, when Ethan suddenly yanked me into his arms. He'd held me before over test papers, but this ordinary embrace now made tears well up violently. So this was it, all my struggles. Jealousy and resentment were just desperate cravings for someone to love me. Emily, don't cry, he said. I tried to hold back, but failed miserably. Clutching his waist, I buried my tear-streaked face against his chest. Ethan, I hate you so much. His body stiffened. Do you really hate me that much? His voice dropped low. My sobs choked me, yet I stubbornly refused to acknowledge my pounding heart. Yes. I absolutely despise you. Then Ethan took it seriously. The tentative truce I'd established shattered as frost crept back into his demeanor. This infuriated me. He's the one who accused me of having a crush. Kissed me then rejected me. Started walking me to school. And now this cold shoulder? Even timid Emily has her limits. My heart ached like mushrooms rotting in endless rain. Days passed with Ethan radiating glacial hostility, casting an oppressive atmosphere over the entire classroom. Kevin shivered, eyeing Ethan's thunderous expression. Ethan, the plan didn't work. Ethan's gaze automatically flickered toward my seat before he forcefully lowered it. His mind echoed my words on loop. She hates me. After school that evening, a girl from the neighboring class intercepted me. Her starry eyes sparkled with hope. Emily, are you seeing anyone? Flushing crimson, I stammered. No. This was my first confession. I'm Tiffany from next door, she announced brightly, extending a pink envelope adorned with heart stickers and floral perfume. Give me a chance? Though the attention felt nice, the memory of Ethan's hot and cold behavior stabbed my chest. I stretched out my hands, ready to firmly decline. But then Kevin called out, "Ethan!" The next second, Ethan strode over in 3 quick steps and grabbed my wrist. His voice carried urgent possessiveness. He might not have a girlfriend, but he's got a boyfriend. Me, huh? Dazed, I instinctively turned to explain to Tiffany. And no, he's not. Ethan, where are you taking me? In the empty classroom, Ethan pinned me against the wall. His teeth scraped my lips until they burned and tingled, my weak struggles dissolving into helpless whimpers. He kissed with feral desperation, like he wanted to devour me whole. Pushing did nothing. Fighting was futile. Thinking of this humiliation, hot tears spilled over. Ethan jerked back as if scalded. Why do you always bully me? I sobbed uncontrollably, glaring at the architect of my misery. His sharp features softened with unconcealed anguish as he studied me. Don't cry. You accused me of having a crush, then rejected me for no reason. Now that I've actually fallen for you, that I'm desperate to keep you, are you happy? My heart cracked open, icy winds howling through the fissures. Ethan suddenly froze, then pounced on my half-formed words. You like me? You like me? His radiant grin only stoked my fury. Get lost! I shoved at his chest, but he anticipated the move, crushing me tighter against him. His brow furrowed in genuine confusion. If you like me, why reject me? You rejected me first. The words exploded from me, then we both froze. Silence. After an eternity, we spoke simultaneously. Ethan, you didn't reject me? Me, you didn't reject me? If neither had refused, had this all been a misunderstanding? 2 idiots stared at each other before laughter burst free, echoing through the empty room. So stupid. As mirth subsided, his handsome face inched closer until our breaths mingled. Since neither of us said no, does this mean we're dating now? Emily? Heat flooded my cheeks. Who'd want to date you? Then will you reject this? His lips hovered millimeters from mine. Just kiss me already. You chatterbox. No sooner had I grumbled than his fingers tilted my chin up. Fire blazed across my mouth, sweet as stolen honey. Years of happiness followed until the call came. Emmy? It's Mom. Your biological father is critically ill. He wants to see you. Darkness I hadn't felt in years came crashing back. The apartment stood empty, Ethan still at work. Alone. I stared at the buzzing phone, clutching the phone tightly. I curled up on the couch. After a long silence, I finally whispered okay into the receiver. Long after hanging up, I remained motionless, staring blankly. Being with Ethan had made me forget about those matters for what felt like lifetimes, distant memories that might as well belong to some past incarnation. They lingered in my life like a soaked winter coat, equally chilling whether worn or discarded. Forgotten until triggered, they'd ambush me like accidental ginger in a meal, burning unexpectedly. Since college, I desperately distanced myself from everything related to them. These past 2 years, it took every ounce of strength to become someone normal through Ethan's love. Yet after all that running, the alien concept of family still reeled me back. When the door opened, I leapt barefoot from the couch and crashed into Ethan's arms. He staggered slightly but steadied us, hands protectively gripping my waist. Missed your husband that much? His chuckle vibrated against my cheek as I buried my face in his shirt, fingers twisting the fabric. The muffled yes escaped before I could stop it. He hung my bag, keys jingling, while sliding into house slippers. Hungry? I'll cook. His gentle offer shattered my composure. Tears spilled over as I blurted, Ethan? I need to confess something. About? Stealing your exam paper, the orange peels in your desk, doodling on your uniform jacket. It wasn't a crush. I did those things because I resented you. I'm not the good person you think. My voice dwindled, chin dipping like an ostrich seeking sand. His sudden laughter startled me. I know. My head snapped up. What? Always knew. From the start. The hospital corridor stretched endlessly as Ethan watched me enter the room, worry etching his features. The man in bed bore little resemblance to my fading memories, shriveled, gray-haired. His new wife, new son, and Mrs. Johnson formed an unfamiliar tableau. He struggled to grasp my hand. I recoiled. I failed you, he rasped, tears welling. His weeping left me eerily calm. You summoned me to ease your conscience before dying. Get forgiveness. Declare yourself a failed father. Then die peacefully as if nothing happened? What about the love I never got? The wounds that took decades to scar over? Your apology can't erase half my life's pain. Silence hung heavy, broken only by muffled sobs. His, Mrs. Johnson's. Those same sounds had haunted my childhood nights. I'll never forgive you. Never. The door slammed behind me. Code blue alarms wailed. I didn't look back. Just like they never did. The end.